Welcome to the World of Rock Records podcast. World of Rock Records is a recording label based out of the World of Rock Music School in the heart of downtown Summit, New Jersey. While we've always proudly maintained a family-friendly environment at our studio in Summit, listener discretion may be advised, as songs and conversations on this podcast may not be suitable for all ages.
Yeah, boy. We're at World of Rock, Summit, New Jersey. World of Rock Records podcast, episode 1. I am not the host of this thing by choice. I am the host by default. My name is Joe Kenyon. Welcome to the inaugural episode of World of Rock Records of the podcast. I have no idea what a podcast should be if a record label's behind it, but I guess we'll figure it out. Like I said, I'm Joe Kenyon. This podcast is not about me. It is about the bands, the artists that make World of Rock a fun, I don't even want to call it a job, a fun task. Task is a shitty word. But we're here. We're at World of Rock. We're doing it. This episode, the first episode, we got two interviews taking up the meat of the show. Two friends of mine. One's in Sydney, Australia. The other one is in California. He just got back from a 3-month stay in Japan. Tracy from Weekly Fascination. He's doing about a 10 to 20 minute interview later on in the show. I got Danny Pinn from Fizz Button Radio, Sydney, Australia. He's doing a interview as well. If you're not familiar with World of Rock, we're a music school based in the heart of downtown Summit, New Jersey. We're also a record label, World of Rock Records, hell-bent on doing good music justice. And we recognize that rock and roll transcends art form. And we're going to do the best we can to put together an entertaining hour of audio for you. And if you're watching this at home, I suggest you go on YouTube, watch this on YouTube, HD video, to accompany your oral journey. But if you're on the go, you can grab this on iTunes as soon as our feed picks it up. Right now, as I speak, it's August 18th at 11 p.m. And in about an hour, I'm going to launch Music Volume 2, our second compilation. It's free to download at worldofrockrecords.bandcamp.com. Got a whole bunch of people that dig what World of Rock is doing and what Fizz Button's doing. So thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. Bands like Surfing, Smoke Serpent, Facing Infamy, I'm a Rat. They all make appearances on World of Rock Music Volume 2, our second compilation, coming out in about an hour. I'm sure it's already out by the time you hear this. You should snag it for free, worldofrockrecords.bandcamp.com. On the vinyl front, we got Foreign Objects, Genesis 12A, the second limited edition 7-inch vinyl edition to 250, a Universal Culture Shock vinyl box set put together by Distant Recordings and World of Rock Records. So if you're a CKY fan, a Darren Miller fan, a Foreign Objects fan, World Under Blood, check out our Genesis 12A. That's a classic track. Genesis 12A was what got me into CKY, and CKY is one of the reasons World of Rock exists. So thanks, Darren, for letting me press your vinyl. It's going to be shipping by the end of summer. Pre-orders are up now at worldofrockrecords.bigcartel.com. We really need a site, man. I gotta really get on that. World of Rock, the music school, has a site. World of Rock Records does not have a site. It's about that time. Our record label's been in business for a little over a year. Our music school a little more than that. Let me tell you, I spent quite a few hours sitting here trying to figure out what a podcast should be for World of Rock, and this is still very experimental. Still messing with with what we have at hand. Before you forget, check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/World of Rock Records, Instagram.com/World of Rock Records. We're on Twitter, World of Rock Recs, RECS, very active on Twitter. Friends with a lot of people on Twitter. Twitter's a great thing. Our store, worldofrockrecords.bigcartel.com, and all our compilations are going to be hosted on our Bandcamp page, worldofrockrecords.bandcamp.com. So Music Volume 2, it's coming out in about an hour. It should already be out by the time you hear this. So let's kick off this podcast. Episode 1. Up next, I got a track from Facing Infamy. Good band from St. Louis, Missouri. They just sent me a new master of Black and White. So I'm going to play that for you now. And right after that, we're going to get into our interviews. So let's do it. World of Rock.
This station is conducting a test of the emergency broadcast system. This is only a test. This is the test of the emergency broadcast system.
All right, in just under a minute, millions of Americans will witness history. For the first time ever, the government will launch a nationwide test of the emergency alert system.
Like words on a page, your face is so easy to read. But I close my eyes so tight that they begin to bleed. I'll take what you give and I'll learn how to live without your say. I'll just go on creating my own till I find my home, until all my breath is gone. Take the black of your heart through the whites of my eyes, and you'll see I'm blaming the dead of the night. I see you down my life, but it's more than black and white. At the top of my lungs, I'm begging for you to hear my song. Just take what I do, I assure you, you still won't think I'm wrong. Ominous sights and escaping of light is ripping apart my seams. Tonight is the night and the feeling is right. You're tearing apart my dreams. Take You'll see a flame in the dead of the night. We'll see you doubt, we'll see you doubt my life. Take the black of your heart through the whites of my eyes, and you'll see a flame in the dead of the night. I see you doubt, I see you doubt my life, but it's more than black and white. It's more than black and white. It's more than black and white. Black and white.
Fully committed, coming with it from the start to the finish. Strictly business when I bring it to your attention. This honorable mention, piss all in your invention. Missus can't afford to mention. This is only my suggestion. My emergency commencing psychometabolic message.
The podcast is in session. World of Rock Records, episode 1. Just heard a clip from Smoke Serpent. They got a track called Dropped. It's on World of Rock Records Volume 2, dropping for free at worldofrockrecords.bandcamp.com August 19th. Digital booklet by Danny Pinn of Fizz Button Radio. He's coming up next. I got an interview. I caught up with him all the way from Summit, New Jersey to Sydney, Australia. This is episode 1 of the World of Rock Records podcast.
Surfing. On Music Volume 2.
World of Rock Records podcast. Danny Pinn, he's on the line via Skype. What up, dude?
Hey Jay, how's it going?
How's it going?
Yeah, really good.
It's what is it? 11 p.m. or almost 11:30 p.m.
Yeah, nearly 11:30 at night
in Sydney.
at the moment.
It's
Yeah.
9:30 in the morning here. I'm still waking up. I'm having coffee. You're probably getting ready to go to bed.
Yeah, I'm the complete opposite.
You said this is what, your third podcast you're doing today?
Yeah, I've had
Jesus.
a bit of a schedule and a bit of work in between. So you got to make hay while the sun shines, as they say.
Well, you're the host of Fizz Button Radio, one of my favorite podcasts. You also hosted Pinpoint, and you said you host a new football podcast with who? What was it, your brother?
Yeah, my brother. Yeah, who was recently on Fizz Button Radio, and
Yeah.
so we did that tonight as well.
And you had me on a few times, some
Yeah.
with technical difficulties, some without.
Yeah, that's it.
And you're actually, Fizz Button is making the second World of Rock compilation possible. You're doing the artwork. We're borrowing your comics that you drew over, what was it, 2012 or 13, that you drew a comic a day every day for a year.
That's right. So January 1st, I had a New Year's resolution. Last year it was 2013 to do a comic every day for the year. The only rule I had was that the comic had to be drawn that day. I couldn't draw, say, 5 in one day and just dribble them out. It had to be done each day, and I managed to stick with it. And at the moment, I'm just trying to get them all into a book, which I hope to have out as soon as I can. I really want to get it out soon. So that's another iron I've got in the fire at the moment.
There you go.
Trying to, yeah.
All those comics they're on your Instagram. Is that the only place you posted on? Did you post them every day, just in that one spot?
I did. I took a photo of them every day, and that's how I got them on there. And so there was Instagram, and then I put them onto Twitter and Facebook as well. Well, it kind of started out as an exercise, and then partway through the year, I realised that what I was doing was, or what I was going to end up with, was a book. Which kind of with that end in mind, it kind of gave me a little bit more of a push to like, I really have to get this going because I can wind up with a tangible object at the end as a product. But yeah, when I heard about your music, I realised that you had the same sort of thing in mind. Kind of the way Louis C.K. does his comedy a little bit. He'll book his venues without having any material planned. So he does a whole new hour every year. So it's that kind of thing. You set yourself a deadline and just do it.
Yeah. No, I'm familiar with that. So I mean, it's deadlines can motivate you, but they can drive you crazy. Yeah. Depending on how hard you are on yourself, I mean, they can really you can kind of do some damage if you're not careful.
Well, if you don't do it properly, one thing it can do is make you put out substandard work which isn't up to scratch, and you're just putting it out just because you've got this arbitrary deadline. It worked with me for the comics because if I didn't hit it out of the park one day, I've got another day the next to make up for it. You can kind of skip past it, and
and like you said, so it's an experiment.
Yeah.
So you went into it thinking it's an experiment, and you ended up with a large collection of something that you can turn into something else now because of
That's right.
And then you kind of find the art value after. That's funny because I was talking to Tracy from Weekly Fascination.
Oh yeah.
And I was talking to him about the same thing, and he writes and he records music, and you do that too. We were talking about how you can assign an artistic or meaning to the piece afterward instead of having it and cultivating it and making one that already exists in your mind manifest. You know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah. Well, you can wind up with something you didn't even have in mind.
Right.
Something can just emerge if you're not too precious. Sometimes you can strangle the life out of something by making it become the thing that you had in mind right from the get-go.
Yep.
If you let it come out, then you can wind up with something you didn't even realise what it was going to be.
Yeah, and there are a million ways to go about creating something, and I mean, the meaning can come before, it can come during, it can come after. And at the end of the day, there are really no rules, so I mean, it's really up to you, and everything's subjective anyway, so none of it matters.
That's right.
None of it matters.
Yeah. That's the beauty of it.
We're going to take your comics and we'll chop them up and use them as the booklet. I still got to put the booklet together. Man, I got a lot of work to do over this next week. And I got to sell some Wellington tickets for a bass clink we got coming up.
Oh, right.
Man, there's a lot going on.
It is good to have this kind of stuff happening. Like, I know a lot of people that don't indulge in projects like this, and I find it very invigorating.
Do you ever drive yourself crazy? Do you ever sort of book yourself book too many things going on at once, and then end up saying, "Oh my God, how did I get myself into this hole?"
I kind of felt a little bit like that today, but I just didn't think about it too much. I just went, if I just pace myself, I can get through it. And I'm glad that I did because, it's been a very fruitful day. And you're going to be tired anyway, so why not be tired with something under your belt to show for it?
That's a good way of looking at it.
That's what I say. Yeah.
How many episodes are you in for Fizz Button?
I think
what's the number?
On the weekend was 31.
Nice.
Pinpoint's longest running one I've got. That's 125.
See, tell me more about the Pinpoint, because I just downloaded 3 episodes the other day. I didn't even get to listen to them yet. I never heard it. I've been a Fizz wizard for a while. I haven't heard I haven't heard the Pinpoint yet. They're short. Do you just kind of do them on the fly whenever you feel like it?
Yeah, well, it started out as a precursor to Fizz Button, where it just started out as a radio show. I had no one listening, and which it kind of laid the foundations for the skill base you need to be able to do this Fizz Button. So, but what I wanted to do was make it a podcast interview style, which I had going for a little while, and then it morphed again and again. But what it is at the moment is when I get off the train at the end of the day, from there to home, I record an episode as I walk. So it's on the run. So as I'm walking along the road, I'm recording these episodes. So it's just little snapshots out of my day. I might come up with a topic during the day or something to talk about, or someone might give me a topic. Adam Adds has done it a couple of times.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do you always record them at the same time and during the same sort of... Is it always happening? Yeah.
Yeah, usually I do it just as I get off the platform of the train, and I hit record. The software I've got works on my phone. I don't do any editing. I just roll the music all in as I'm walking along. Yeah, I do it all because I just don't have time to edit. So I've got to...
Right.
It's got a console on it, like a DJ console.
Have you ever thought about giving any of your shows like a visual counterpart, like video-wise, or is that kind of too much? That's a pain because I'm doing that for this one. I'm going to see how it works.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, during this interview, there's probably going to be, like, a static graphic up. But during the rest of it, I mean, I've been filming footage every day and just for something for, you know, the video feed so you can upload it to YouTube and not have one thing sitting there the whole time. Have you ever thought about doing, like, a visual?
I just dabbled with it recently. I grabbed a little portion out of Constantine Ray. I just got the little part of it where he was talking about Public Enemy, and just introduced some
that's
some
on the
movement.
site.
Yeah. I couldn't do it for the whole thing, and also I get a little bit iffy about including commercial music when I upload to YouTube and iTunes.
Oh, yeah, they'll get you.
Yeah, it's a bit of a pain. So
I think depending on the artist, you can still do it, but I'm not sure how that works. But why even bother?
Yeah, I don't want to put my body of work at jeopardy.
Oh, I mean, you use a lot of your original stuff. Like the original music, you use that in the show. And I was talking to Tracy last night, and he was saying, you know, he does the same thing because it's like, why not? I mean, you have a body of work there. Why not maximize
use it?
Yeah, use it.
That's right.
There's nothing wrong with, you know, with taking advantage of what you have. It's not like you're doing anything wrong. People are afraid to do that for some reason.
Yeah, I used to be a little bit reluctant, but now I've gone full circle where, because I don't want, like I was saying before, I don't want to put the music use, don't want that to jeopardise my show. But then I thought, if you're putting in all this work into building a platform for yourself, then you might as well take advantage of it. If you've got some product there to use, as long as you're not a dick about it, you know, as long as you're not an idiot about it, you can take advantage of that.
Do you think it's like a confidence in your work type of thing? I mean, I was always kind of like that too. I was always shy about sharing my music with everybody, you know what I mean?
I'm slowly starting to come around. It's partly confidence, but it's also I've always been very conscious of appearing to be a self-indulgent person. But to be an artist, it requires a little bit of self-indulgence because you're putting yourself out there. Whether you want it or not, you've already jumped over that chasm of parading your wares, so to speak. So you may as well go the whole hog and say, this is mine.
Band.
Yeah.
You are the Fizz Button house band, and the way you put your show together is very cool because you put it together like an actual production. I mean, there are a lot of podcasts that I listen to that are literally hit record, start the conversation, done. I like that because it's taking something that's very ordinary say, a conversation between two people, and you're able to get a lot more out of it when you have it in a recorded form that you can listen to over and over. You put your show together a completely different way. You know what I mean? You kind of go about it from an actual production perspective. It's almost like a little variety show, because you have skits, you have everything.
Yeah. I like to record skits and put those in there, which there's a lot of potential to. I think I'm only just scratching the surface there, but I really would like to build it into a variety show. I'm trying to encourage people to contribute segments. I'd like to get into radio dramas or radio comedies, you know, like the old style. Awesome. Because I do have a few ideas there as well, and I'm really just testing the waters. The other thing is, because it's a platform, in short bursts, I'm trying character voices and stuff like that, and I can kind of road test it. If I make it at 1 minute, 1 or 2 minutes, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I can kind of test a few things out. But I'm very much going for that variety show type thing.
Your show is very organic, it flows from episode to episode very organically, and without without any interrupt in flow. Like, it's very, the things that will come about on one episode will carry to the next, and then they'll carry to the next, and they'll carry to the next, and it just happens because of the fact that your show is based on people that listen to the show. Your show is the audience for the most part, other than like you know, I mean, you're the host and you are the house band, and you do the skits and everything, but the meat of the show is you having a guest on and playing DJ for the entire show, giving you their top 10 songs of all time.
That's it. I'm kind of having my cake and eat it too, because I can like I said before, showcase what I can do, but the show isn't all about me. If anything,
right,
it's about the guests that comes on who really shapes the show, but also the contributions Twitter-wise from the audience. So if I'm interacting with the audience and they're sending in tweets and I'm reading it out, they're very much shaping the show. Mm-hmm. And interaction is key to the show.
Oh yeah, you have people you got people on Twitter hitting you up during the show, posting pictures of their workstations, their computers, their phones, with Fizz Button playing. That's badass, dude.
Hey, thanks. Well, it's it sort of gains a new dimension with every episode, like Fizz Tag and Fizz Wizard. These kind of if you can associate some terminology to your show, I think that it's, well, without even realizing it, we're building a community.
Oh yeah, it wasn't even. It's not like it's contrived. I mean, it just happened on its own. It's really cool, and that's why it's fun.
Yeah, that's right. I think, Adam Ads came up with Fizz Wizard, and I think Neo Savage and Yeston came up with Fizz Tag. So I'm very open to taking these things on board, and I say we as much as I can, because it's my show. I suppose, like I'm making the show, but I grant ownership to the audience as much as I can.
There's a really cool group on Twitter, and it's not just on Twitter, it's in real life too. There's a whole bunch of cool people that we're in touch with that make this really fun to do.
Yeah. I think, I can't remember where I heard it, but I feel a little bit like the bee out of that No Rain film clip. Mm-hmm. I forget what's the song called. Blind Melon, No Rain. It features this girl who's dressed up as a bee, and then she feels really out of place and everything, and then she finds this whole bunch of other bees. I feel like I've found my tribe, my bunch of freaks, or whatever you want to call it, whatever Joe Rogan says.
Yeah.
And once you make that connection with a bunch of people, you can really thrive within that sort of environment.
I hear you. Danny, I think it is time to play a track of yours, and you are going to have a song on the compilation that you're making happen, World of Rock Music Volume 2. It's going to be out August 19th for free, digital, huge booklet with Danny's comics, illustrations. They're going to take up the whole thing. We have a week ahead of us. This is going to be quite a task. You want to introduce the song?
This is a song that I actually got the title from Johnny Pemberton, who was on the Duncan Trussell Family Hour one time. He was talking about a bloke who was it sounds strange, but a fungus expert called Paul Stamets, and he had a talk called How Mushrooms Can Save the World. And mycelium is like the Earth's natural internet. It connects everything up, and the internet actually mimics it in terms of modes and the way it holds the whole Earth together. It's like a network of things, and I've always felt that things are all joined, that everything's connected, that coincidences are only what you get when you apply bad theory. So that's what that was the basis for the song. I recorded it with a whole bunch of. For the first time, I made an album of just instrumentals. So this was the only one with the vocals on it. Actually recorded it on my iPhone. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to give away what the...
No. All that matters in the end is the sound. You can use whatever you like to record.
Well, that's what I used for this one. It was at a time when I didn't have much room, so I had to do the vocals actually in the bathroom. But
hey, you use what you got. You use what
exactly.
You got.
I've always been a big of the opinion that lack of resources is not an excuse at all. If you've got the will, you'll find a way. So
yeah, I agree.
So I made this whole album actually. It's called Problem Is the Cure. And
it's on iTunes.
It's on iTunes, yeah. It's the only album I've ever managed to put up on iTunes. So I was pretty happy about that. And all made on my iPhone and on GarageBand. So anyone out there who says...
Can't talk crap about GarageBand either. It's a multi-tracker. No. At its core, it's a multi-tracker. If you can use it.
That's it. I shelled out the $5 to get it on my iPhone, and I would master it on the train and add tracks. It's very good for adding very lifelike instruments in there. You can just use the built-in mic on your iPhone. So anyone out there who's thinking about making an album and you don't think you've got the resources, you actually have a studio in your pocket. So so just pull it out and start recording, because it's easier than you think.
Yeah, what would you say your instrument is?
I probably the strongest is the guitar.
Yeah.
I like to play the piano. I can't walk past the piano if I see it. I just love the feel of a piano.
I understand that.
Yeah, I like a nice piano that you can just feel resonating under your hands and everything. I love to sing.
Playing a piano is like writing with a brand new Sharpie.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It's like
There's a whole world in a piano.
And it allows you to play and write differently on the fly than you can on the guitar. You're going to come up with a very different...
That's right. Yeah, you're playing with a whole new... you're in a whole different paradigm or something. I like how you can play rhythm and melody at the same time. And I like to play the harmonica when I play the guitar. I'll have a go at anything, bass, but whatever's laying around.
I'm getting into bass a lot too now.
Right. What would your main instrument be?
Guitar, for sure.
Guitar.
Yeah, I spent 10 years with it.
Yeah.
Now
Right.
I'm getting into the other stuff. Now I'm starting to really dig what the piano can do for me.
Yeah.
Never really got it until now. I mean, it took 10 years to kind of...
Yeah, the potential there.
Yeah. All right, so we, Danny,
So this is Mycelium by me, Danny Pinn.
Tower waiting for a long, long time. A neon land is there between your ears. Desire is the root of all unhappiness, but you won't give it up out of fear. I'm filling it up, I'm filling it in, I'm living it up, I'm looking within, I'm setting it up, I'm settling in, my silly heart, my silly scale the cross. For what it's worth, you're losing your way. The rudimentary set is playing toss the boss, and giving birth to the state of play. I'm filling it up, I'm filling it in, I'm living it up, I'm looking within, I'm setting it up, I'm settling in, my silly heart, my silly my silly heart, my silly in, 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 my silly heart, my silly in.
All my friends come over with different kinds of boogers, and put them on my toys. All my friends come over with different kinds of boogers. Some of them are girls and some of them are boys. Yay! All my friends come over with different kinds of boogers, some are green, some are clear. All my friends come over with different kinds of boogers, and they put them on my toys.
I feel like an idiot. It's just like, all right, what are we going to talk about? And then there's Frank there eating crackers, and Cricket shows up. That part with Cricket where he's sucking on the lemon, and he's talking about the wound on his head. It was just perfect timing. It was like, all right, yeah, this needs to happen.
That's recording too.
Oh, you getting double audio?
Yeah, I got video too, so I was drop.
Ah, smart. Good. Just still getting used to this Robin Williams thing. And Bicentennial Man was awesome. What else? Popeye is one of my favorite films. 1 Hour Photo. Man, where are my old stomping grounds?
We're driving the world.
Yeah, you're right by the promenade. I went to school in Springfield. We're in Springfield right now. We were about like 13. We stay up until like midnight and go walk down Route 22 in the middle of the night when all the people would be drag racing. I don't know if he still works there. He looks like the Gerber baby. Today's podcast is sponsored by... excuse me.
I'm sitting next to my friend Alex.
Hello.
AKA 2 South.
They call me Mexican.
It's Tracy.
What's up, T?
I'm good. I am looking out at the Pacific Ocean right now.
It's what, 7 p.m. now?
Yeah, exactly. And I tell you what, it is absolutely stunning. I'm on a peninsula called Rancho Palos Verdes, looking at the ocean, sitting by a Starbucks, and it's stunning.
How does it compare to Japan?
Oh, Japan, I'd go back in a heartbeat.
Would you?
Oh, yeah.
How come you were there? Was it just did you just decide to go?
It was a work assignment, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I went over to do a short work assignment, and it just kept getting longer and longer. And then
how long did you end up being there? You were there for a few months.
I was there almost exactly 3 months. They allow every American, because of our treaties with passports and immigration, they allow us up to 90 days. And so I went there on May 7th and came back August 5th. Anybody who's really good at math can figure that it's probably 89 days or 90 days.
Wow.
So I stayed there the max, yeah.
You know, if you're not familiar with Tracy is the host of a podcast called Weekly Fascination. And he actually had me on to spew my own BS. And
that was a fun show.
Now we got him on. You've been the official World of Rock special enforcer over in Japan. You sent photos over. You sent photos over of World of Rock stickers on the streets of Tokyo.
I have no idea.
You got the World of Rock T-shirt.
I have no idea how those stickers got up there, by the way.
Yeah, no, we don't know who did that. We don't.
With my camera, and I was like, "Holy shit! There's a World of Rock sticker."
The word spreads quick.
It's amazing, and so it really is World of Rock. That's what I thought was so cool about it. It's gone from New Jersey to California to Tokyo. So, and
as you were sending those pictures in, I was taking them. Mm-hmm. And I was posting them. I was reposting them. I was sharing them on Instagram. And you had posted I don't know if you explained it on the Instagram page or not, but you had posted a picture of you in the World of Rock shirt in front of a huge building with huge guitars coming from both sides. And what was that?
That was a music store in a town called Shibuya. I don't remember what the music store is. Key Music or something like that? Maybe Key Music. If you go out of Shibuya Station, next time you're in Tokyo, anybody who's listening, you go out of Shibuya Station, and there's this huge guitar store, and you can get great guitars. I got an acoustic guitar, made in Japan, Yamaha, for $98. Mind you, it was used, but amazing guitar. I wrote 3 or 4 songs on it, and amazing. So, and I bought a Hohner guitar there in the 90s. It's a Steinberger licensed copy, and that was my main guitar for years.
I got an what is it? SVK. It's a Les Paul copy.
Okay.
It's black and gold. It was made in Japan. The company, I believe, was Japanese. SVK. They're out of business now. They went out of business. I'm looking at it right now. They went out of business a short time after I bought it, maybe 2009, 10.
Okay.
And I named it Lizzie.
Okay.
And I'll send a picture.
Yeah, please tweet a picture.
Let me tell you, for a copy, and it's really light.
Oh, yeah.
Plays like a monster. It's the first guitar that I actually feel like I have a player-instrument relationship with instead of trying to struggle with an instrument well enough to make the sound.
Yeah, I've had that. It's like girlfriends, right? It's like girlfriends. You struggle and struggle, and there's no payoff, and then one day you just walk into Starbucks, and there she is, man.
Your podcast.
Yes.
How many episodes have you done while you were there?
I did about 3 while I was there. I ran into a Kenyan rapper who lives down south. His name is Twelly G, and he's got a song called Good Day. And I tell you what, man, that guy can sing, and he's got a good voice, a good message, and positive vibe, and I just love the guy. I was there, I had my World of Rock T-shirt on, and I wanted to get a picture in Shibuya at the big scramble crosswalk that is it's world famous. And I asked this guy was sitting next to me, and I said, hey, can you take a picture? He said, why, sure. And we started talking. And he spoke impeccable English, but he had an accent, and I couldn't place it. So, of course, I asked him where he's from, and he said, well, I'm from Kenya. I said, what are you doing here? And he goes, well, I'm doing a show tonight, if you're free. And I was like, well, you're kidding me. What do you do? And before long, I just pulled out my iPhone and started recording and did a podcast right there.
That was entertaining as hell.
That guy's amazing. I absolutely love that guy. There's something about people who come from a unique place like Kenya, and they end up in places like Tokyo. It's just something special about people who travel like that. He speaks great Japanese. He's studying Japanese, and I think he was studying something like civil engineering or something. Really bright guy. And I posted a couple of his YouTube videos. The guy's really amazing, and I think he should be a world famous rapper. I mean, he's got it going on, you know.
Every podcast that you record is a seemingly ordinary conversation,
mm-hmm.
and once it's uploaded and other people listen to it and hear it maybe 2-3 times, or they listen to it while they're doing something else, or it sort of shows you the artistic side of what is otherwise something very ordinary.
Yeah.
And something very taken for granted. But since you just spent the last few months in Japan, you kind of took advantage of that.
I did.
And you did the same thing, and you kind of got opinions that would not really otherwise been heard.
Yeah.
And backgrounds that would have never been even thought about. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
You're getting a very interesting perspective. Especially to be there that long.
Yeah. Oh, it was.
How'd you feel when you got back?
When I got back,
jet lag?
I didn't want to come back, I tell you. I met somebody over there. I fell in love, and she's going to come over and see me. I tell you what, I wasn't looking. I had no plans to meet anybody. I wanted to go over there for a couple weeks, do some work, make some money, and come back. I got a lot of stuff to do in L.A., and that's why I made the reference to walking into the Starbucks, because she's going to be listening to this. I walked into Starbucks one day, and there's this beautiful girl, and I said hello, and the rest is history.
Aw, Trace.
Amazing. So it was meant to be.
That's a cool thing. What's her name?
Oh, I'm not going to give her name on there. If that's okay.
Okay. Yeah.
But wonderful young lady, and really amazing family, and we just hit it off, you know. And I could go on forever.
That's awesome.
I could go on forever because there's so many cool things about her. That just, you know, those things like little conversations you have where you just kind of put your head to the side and realize, like, wow, I'm talking to a really special person, you know. And so many times I can't even tell you. So we'll leave it at that. She's very special, and I'm going to see her again. She's going to come here, and we're going to see what happens.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So don't be surprised if you hear more about her in the future. So
that's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I had another great interview with a musician named Henri. He's a guy who grew up in Germany, from Japanese descent, actually Japanese mom, German dad. He speaks fluent English, Japanese, and German, and he went to the conservatory in Berlin. The guy's amazing. He's got a huge body of work. He's a jazz musician, and he can pretty much play anything on guitar. And he showed me his work that was his, kind of like, you know, when you do like a master's or something, you have to do a thesis before you graduate. Well, his thesis was to perform music that he wrote. And so he had a quartet there.
Wow.
And yeah, it's so amazing. The music, I can't even describe it. You just have to check him out. It's on my website, weeklyfascination.com.
Okay.
On weeklyfascination.com, there's a couple links to his music. And this is the first time, by the way, I've ever used anybody else's music for my intro.
Wow, yeah. You do your own stuff.
Yeah, since I'm an attorney, I'm really paranoid about copyrights and stuff. And even though I could probably use music, what do they call it, stock music or something like that.
Yeah, like the royalty-free stuff.
Yeah, royalty-free stuff. I could use that. But, of course, one of my motives is to get my music out there. So people hear the intro, they're like, wow, that song rocks, man.
It's like, why not? I mean, you have your own little personal library of music. You might as well put it to maximum use.
That's right. And I found out, now you're a musician too, so you'll get this, but I think any creative endeavor we go into, it kind of helps feed into the other creativity somehow. because I got off of I interviewed a guy named Yuck Nasty, that's the guy who lost his house the day after Christmas, or 2 days after Christmas last year.
Yeah.
Really wonderful guy. I really liked the guy. And at the end of the show, he said something about his friend Dogga Baby. He said, if I've got 20, that means he's got 10, which means half of everything that I have, I'll share with him, unconditionally. And these guys are best buddies, and they run a podcast together, Get in the Corner. And that line stuck in my head, and as soon as I hung up from the Skype call with Yuck Nasty, I sat down and wrote a song called Best Friend. And then and then I put that on my website, I think, and I put it on my podcast and stuff. And then I interviewed a guy who was a recovered meth addict, and he said something. God, that interview really freaked me out. So it was so good, though. That's why it freaked me out, because he really articulated what it's like to be into a disease like that. And he told how meth is evil and it'll make you do things that you don't want to do. And I had a song called Watching My Dreams Come True. And I really like the song, and I didn't really get the meaning of it until I went to Tokyo and met this girl. But then the meaning came clear. Like, I had written it for her before I met her. But there's so the meaning sort of it was assigned afterward. Yeah. And you found meaning of the song. Yeah, like I do understand. You get that, right? I mean, from a writer's perspective, yeah, sure. Oh yeah. So in this interview with this guy, he says something about like meth will take your soul, and I had done a studio version of Watching My Dreams Come True, but I wasn't satisfied with it, so I sat down and did an unplugged version of it. And at the end, I just started vamping and singing along and playing the chord progression over and again. And I just started singing, don't sell your soul, you're going to need it where you go. And it can mean so many different things. And so I kind of leave my songs open to interpretation. But I finished the song and then listened back to it, and I loved it. And so interviewing this guy, talking about addiction, it helped me finish a song that I had struggled with, right? I got to Tokyo, I met this girl, and I listened to this song. We listened to it together, and it says, I believe in dreams, I believe in miracles, watching my dreams come true. I was like, whoa, wait a second. I think I wrote this for you, Like you said, the meaning got assigned after the song was done and after I got to Tokyo and I understood the journey. A lot of other things happened in that time, too, but for sake of your audience, I'll saving the details. No. See, the thing is, I don't know if a lot of people understand, but if you're a songwriter, you're an artist, and if you're an artist, then you have to kind of accept the fact that there are no rules. So if there are no rules, then that means that there are a million different ways that you can write a song. You can write a song, you can force one out of you, you can kind of come up with one on the fly, and then kind of look at it. Look back at it afterward and listen to it and say, okay, what do I have here? Oh, yeah. There are a million different ways that you can do it. So, yeah, I totally get it. Here's one thing that I've tried to describe to people, and it used to scare me because I didn't really understand it. Now I'm starting to embrace it. My songs are more like memories. Yep. And another songwriter or musician will understand that. A good friend of mine, Mark, who's got a large body of music out there. I'll tweet some of his stuff. But Mark lives in Thailand, and he's a musician. He lived in Tokyo for many years, and he wrote a lot of songs. And he told me that writing a song is like sitting in a room, and there's a radio in the next room that you can barely hear. And God, that made sense to me. Made perfect sense. And so when I write a song, it's like a memory, and I'm trying to get it down and trying to learn the chords to this song before the memory fades again. And I tell you what, 3 or 4 songs in Tokyo on this acoustic guitar, and one of these, I was sitting there with my girlfriend. I said, she had her iPhone. I said, hit record. She said, why? I said, I'm going to write a song. And I just sat down and started picking out a song. She's like, what are you doing? I said, I'm writing a song. And a lot of people don't understand how quick it can happen. It's so insane. And I tell you what, the creative process, to me, like I said, I'm starting to embrace it. I don't really understand. That's what you have to do. You kind of have to know when to let go. Yeah, exactly. It's about letting go and almost surrendering, right? Almost surrendering. At some point, it's going to start to take a life of its own, and it's never going to be exactly what you originally envisioned it to be. Exactly. And sometimes I wrote a song completely, and sometimes I wrote a song and finished it a year later. Yep. You ever do that? Sure. Isn't that crazy? I've spent I've spent so much time on one piece of work and then hate it in the end, and other songs I've written and recorded in an hour, and I still like them. I can listen to them without cringing. Oh, yeah.
it took a long time for me, but to finally be able to understand what it means that there are no rules, and in the end, all that matters is the finished product. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah, there are no. And I tell you what, there's that song "Best Friend" that I wrote for Yup Nasty and Dogga Baby. I'm shamelessly plugging my music now, by the way. Now, when you listen to Steve Vai, and he says that he doubles everything he does, and that really freaks me out because he's so fast and so.
He doubles, like, you mean like overdubs?
Yeah, he overdubs everything he does. Like, he'll play a solo and go back and play the same thing again. I can't really do that because I ad-lib. I don't really, sometimes I don't even keep time, you know, so, but You
do sort of write, you write in a very inspired journal entry type style, where you experience.
Yes.
I mean, this is just what I get from you.
Okay.
You experience and then you write.
Yes.
And then you experience, and then you write, and then you experience, and you write. And then other times, other people will have a million different ideas that they're slowly building up a little bit at the time, because each one has a certain thing that they want to say, and there's a certain way they want to say it. You know, or it's a balance of both of those.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like.
And that balance is going to be different for everybody.
For me, like my songs are very autobiographical. I'm an open book when it comes to my music, and people listening to me, listen to my music, they will know exactly where I was at when I wrote that song, whether it's happy or sad. There's a couple songs I wrote that I can't even play because they're so depressing, and I was in such a dark space when I wrote it. And I don't have depression or anything like that. But when you're in a bad place and you write a song, it's very emotive. It can be very strong. But back to this. Sometimes the mistake's the best part. I did the solo for Best Friend, and I recorded 2 versions of the solo, and I listened back to it, and suddenly it had this really strange sound to it, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And I had used kind of a chorus on the guitar, and when you play that line 2 times with chorus, and it's slightly out of phase, it creates this crazy, surreal feel to it. And I cut that off for part of it, but I kept it for part of it, and it ended up being one of the coolest things I've ever done. And
So you sort of stumbled upon a happy accident and said, you know what, let me take this and roll with it, and then it becomes something that you never would have consciously brought about.
No.
But you're glad that it sort of popped up on its own.
No, exactly. It came up on its own. I was like, wow, that's cool.
Another part of letting go.
Yes, exactly.
The whole process.
And I think we got to be really, if you want to be creative, you got to be really open-minded and surrender to the process and kind of come into the truth of yourself. Yes. And it's almost like shining a light on some of the darker parts of yourself sometimes.
You have to kind of treat it with respect.
Exactly. And I look at this, those guys who go to the Olympics, the runners and athletes and stuff, the skiers and stuff, they have coaches. And they're at the top of their game, and they're still trying to learn little things and modify their craft. Right. And so I think we're never really done.
There's always something else that is waiting to be figured out.
Yeah, I think so. And that's what makes this world so fascinating. I mean, you can go to a place like Tokyo or Bogota, Colombia, or Manila, Philippines, and there's just so much cool stuff in the world that, we're never going to learn it all. We have an infinite world almost, and we have finite time, and I think it's incumbent on people to go out there and explore. Get out of the living room. Get out of the living room. Get out of the living room. Put this podcast on your headphones, your whatever media player you're using, and go out and do something. Don't sit there in the living room. Just please, whatever you do, don't sit there.
Or if you already did a lot today, you can hang back and go to rainymood.com and then listen to this at the same time.
There you go. And I find out the body will adapt. This is crazy. I just moved Monday and Tuesday. Had to move. My lease is up, and had to move. And I found a new place, perfect place, especially for having company. It's a gorgeous place. And I moved, and by the end of the day, I was exhausted. And I thought, you know what? I got a great upper body workout. I didn't do any cardio today. And so I went to the gym. The body can really adjust to whatever you throw at it. And if you do it in a reasonable fashion, don't go run a marathon tonight. I mean, that's crazy. Right. Work into it. I worked into it. But
see, I'm bad, man. I'll hound myself every second that I'm not doing something. And I know that I shouldn't do that, and I'll still do it. It's a bad trap.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And so basically, if you're sitting still, you're going to fall apart. If you're moving, you'll last longer.
Thank you so much for letting me call.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
It was very cool catching up.
Yeah. Let's do this again. We'll have you on my show.
Dude, let's do it.
What's the best?
You know, I got Danny from Fizz Button doing the artwork for this one.
Oh my gosh, I tell you what, this podcast community is so cool. I've met the coolest people and had the best experiences.
It was very cool talking to you.
Awesome.
Take care.
It's great talking. Thank you. Bye now.
All right, I'll see you. Bye-bye.
Hey, this is Alex from 2 South. If you're feeling alone, scared, and suicide does come to your mind, I urge you to call 1-800-273-8255. You're going to be connected with skilled, trained counselors that will help you through this crisis. I was in your shoes once, but I found help. And again, I urge you to do the same. 1-800-273-8255. Take care.
Wow, quite a bit of stuff packed into a 1-hour podcast, but I know we only scratched the surface, but what can you expect to do? I mean, this is the inaugural episode. I hope you dug it. Many a late night went into putting this together. Everything from the video, if you're watching this on YouTube, to all the bands that signed on to be a part of Music Volume 2. It's out now for free. I assume you're listening to this on August 19th or later, so it should be out now for free at worldofrockrecords.bandcamp.com. Remember, if you're a CKY fan, Foreign Objects fan, Genesis 12A, it's out. It's up for pre-order now. It'll be shipping at the end of summer. I hope you really dug this episode. I had a blast putting it together. On the next one, I got a couple friends calling in to tell some music-related stories, some funny stories. That's going to be our World of Rock Storyteller segment. And I'm going to play some more tracks from Music Volume 2. And I'm going to take it from there. More footage. If you enjoy the HD footage on YouTube, if this is how you're watching it, let me know. I think that might be it. Till next time, thanks for paying attention. This is a labor of love. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm Joe Kenyon, World of Rock Records. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Side.